First at 5 tonight.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments on Monday about the case of an Oregon man who says he was placed on the United States no-fly list with no explanation.
Well, after years of working through the legal system, the High Court has accepted a request from the FBI to weigh in. Investigative reporter Ezra Kaplan is following the case and has the preview of next week's arguments.
Yeah, that's right. The case began back in 2010 when Jonas Fikre alleges he was wrongly placed on the no-fly list and then was kept out of the U.S. for years. He sued the government and was removed from the list, but now he's still fighting for a permanent resolution and to have his day in court. In the wake of 9/11, the U.S. government created a list of people who were deemed too much of a risk to national security to fly on commercial flights. That became known as the no-fly list. And it was April 2010 when Jonas Fikre found out he was on that list while on a business trip in Sudan with no notice or explanation.
The thing about the program is it remains a black box. Not only are Americans left in the dark about why they've been placed on the list, just like Mr. Fikre is in the dark about why he was put on the list in the first place, but Americans aren't given any meaningful explanation when they're removed.
Fikre says FBI agents questioned him about his ties to Masjid As-Saber Mosque in Portland and told him he would not be able to return home.
They told me there was a case pending in Portland, Oregon, where I was living, and they needed my help. And I was kind of surprised. I said, "What case is there?" And they said, "Well, we can't tell you. You have to accept. You have to be willing to help us, and then we can tell you."
During that same period, the FBI was investigating Mohammed Osman Mohammed, who was later convicted of plotting to bomb a downtown Portland Christmas tree lighting. Mohammed prayed occasionally at the same mosque where Fikre was allegedly requested to become an informant. After the interaction with the FBI, Fikre went to the United Arab Emirates, where he says he was questioned by local authorities about the same mosque, put in prison, and tortured. Fikre was eventually released and sought asylum in Sweden with a relative, but was denied. Shortly before Sweden put him on a flight back to the U.S., Fikre filed a lawsuit against the FBI.
And so he filed suit asking, why was I put on this list? Because the FBI has never actually told him why he was put on the list. They've never explained to him what he did or didn't do.
Fikre argued the FBI violated his right to due process under the Fifth Amendment by calling him a flight risk and not providing him a way to challenge his status. While that lawsuit was pending, the FBI took him off the list and said that the case was now moot. Although a federal district court agreed with the FBI, the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said it was not moot because the government hadn't made it clear that he would not be placed on the list again. Now the FBI is asking the nation's highest court to reverse the Ninth Circuit's ruling, and at the heart of the case is a constitutional question that the court now must consider.
It's not actually about whether it's a good process or a bad process or what changes the government should or shouldn't make. It's about, can citizens assert their rights in court, right? This case is ultimately about due process and the rule of law.
And the Supreme Court will hear arguments from both sides on Monday, but it will likely be several months before a decision is released. Reporting in studio, Ezra Kaplan, Fox 12 Oregon.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you, Ezra.